Hello, welcome
Hi.
to Drag Race Thoughts. My name is Justice Sin Fronteras, and I am here with my co-host. What do you want to be called? I don't know. Oscar,
Hey,
Zena,
just call me Oscar. Oscar. Just call me
drummer
Oscar.
dude.
No,
Okay,
no, no, we're not going through that. We're not
okay,
going through past emails and screen names. That's a little too traumatic.
okay. I just wanted to respect your journey, your identity. So we are here with Oscar, my best friend since kindergarten and my worst enemy um, since then as well. So we are going to be giving our thoughts, a couple of drag race thoughts, giving our thoughts on
Yes.
All Stars season 6, episode 6. This is the pilot episode. Hopefully, we will do some more recaps for future seasons of Drag Race, but since this is the most current one and it just happened, we're doing this one. So, anything you want to say before we get right into it?
I'm excited to start this after years of talking about it, like we were going to do it, and we just never did. So, to everyone, the podcast that nobody asked for, we're here today to give you everything, all our thoughtiest of thoughts on Drag Race All Star 6.
Yes, exactly, the podcast nobody asks for, but it's here. We're here. We're here. So let's get right into it. So we have the recap. They talk about the drama between Scarlett and Jan. What did you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, Scarlett was trying to live in her fantasy, but also trying to get the votes, because I'm sure if she said that she made RuPaul uncomfortable, no one was going to vote for her to stay. So I think she was doing all that she could to stay with the other girls. And Jan is also trying to fight for her spot in the competition. I honestly have, my personal opinion is that Jan should have gone home, and should have been the queen to go home, because I felt like it's been the same critique every single time. Jan in the bottom is that she's doing too much for something that doesn't need to be too much. Ginger was on Jan's team,
Mm-hmm.
so she's gonna send someone from someone from not her team home, and that just so happened to be Scarlett. So
Yeah.
sorry, Scarlett, boo-hoo, you're
I
gone.
Nobody was killed?
So then we get into the lipstick reveals, which showed that there was a tie between Jan and Scarlett, and Jan's
I just
face
want to say,
cracked.
Kylie, real quick. I just want to say, Kylie is always wanting to know what's in the box. She's asked this for like the past 5 episodes.
The box. Who's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
That's
Like,
true.
when are we getting into this box? Lipsticks. Like, okay,
That's
Kylie.
true. That's true.
The votes for Jan were Eureka, Trinity, and Raja. They say that, Jan's living in this fantasy, which I 100% agree. She's living into this larger than life persona all the freaking time. And there's a time and place for it, and we'll get into it, but that time and place was this episode.
Right.
But I think Eureka said it best, because Eureka said, she didn't want to see that fake Jan, and that's what everyone's kind of been beating around the bush, but they don't want to say it because they might hurt Jan's feelings, but it does come off as fake, and I 100% agree.
It's basically like your personality sucks, but how do you say that in a nice way?
Yeah,
I feel like all the queens are trying to say that this season. We could go on and on about Jan's personality, but I was curious what you thought, or like what would have happened if the assassin had won and then there's a tie. Like, we've never had a tie before in All Stars, have we? In this format, at least?
No, not in this format. We have not had a tie. However, I do think they did bring up a good point. I would just say, let them lip sync it. Put on another production. Production can get their act together real quick and give them another song. They already know the songs, because they give them the list of songs before the competition. If the lip sync assassin couldn't eliminate the girl, well, then let them eliminate each other. I think it gives good drama, and I think it's good TV.
Fight.
Yeah, I for one would have loved a lip sync for your life. To choose who gets to stay, basically. So anyway, we get into the workroom. They find out that they are doing a Rumerican Horror Story. Is that what it's called, right?
Yeah, Rumerican Horror Story. Coven or Covet, I don't know. But Coven girl.
Kevin.
Yeah, so I like this challenge. It's an acting challenge. I always like the acting challenges. However, there are times where acting challenges are really lengthy and convoluted, and the storylines do not make sense, and they're not funny in the least bit. So I was, excited to see the girls act, but I'm also very wary because we have been burned in the past with some terrible acting challenges, just written wise from production. Breast World, I don't know what the fuck that was. That was trash. But into these parts, we have Kathy, which is the bearded lady, given to Eureka. Leah, the Gleek, was given to Jan. And if there was ever a part written specifically for Jan, this was it. I don't know where that leaves her, because in this competition they've been saying you're going too much, it's too much, Jan, you need to tone it down, give us authentic Jan, and then they immediately put her into this role that is over the top, but later they praise her for it, and I'm just like, well, then you're not being consistent in what you want from Jan. And then like they've given other queens critiques in the past where they're like, you know what, they chose a role that they were safe with because that's something they've known, and they're like, well, they criticize them because they didn't go outside the box. They didn't go outside the box enough. So it's just like the judging is all over the place, and I'm not, whatever. It's TV Land production. I think
very obvious choice for you, and she did do really well, but she was just Jan.
But I've seen this before. I've seen this from Jan before. In anything and everything she does. Like, I want to see her out of the box. I want to see her as Gabby.
Sultry,
someone
sexy,
else. Someone else. And Jan, I think everyone's giving me Jan.
Everyone is, I think the whole show, the queens and the fans and the production are like, we want Jan to be someone else, basically. And I'm like, just why did you cast her?
Why did you write this part for the acting challenge? Like, why did you give her the opportunity? Like, you're enabling this person to continue to be this person.
Exactly. And this is, I really feel like this whole season is just psychological torture for Jan. Very similar to Laganja, and we've talked about this, how like,
they take advantage of the situation.
They want to break her down.
Yes.
And this was part of building her back up. So that she could have a harder fall. Okay. And so Kylie is taking on the main role as Jessica Lange, which is, her and Ginger fought over. And then so it's set up as to, can she hack it or whatever.
Right.
And at that point, regardless, I was like, I don't know how she's going to do. I feel like she's going to do good, but I feel like she could serve Jessica Lange like hard, like the look, and she has the accent pretty much as her usual voice. So I was excited. So who knows?
Kylie has no acting experience. And this kind of like starts with this edit of, oh, is she gonna do well? Is she not gonna do well? We don't know. So it just goes into, pushes forward into this episode all being about Kylie and resignation or fall.
And we get into that at the next scene, which is them coming into act and being directed by Michelle Visage and the hilarious Ross Matthews.
The hilarious Ross Matthews.
Yes. And so here we see Raja struggling because they don't want her to do that voice. I thought the voice was cute, but
the voice was fine, and I think Raja understood the note and the writing of that character, because that character is supposed to be very juxtaposed to the sister Angela, right? So Angela is this very stoic person, whereas Sarah is supposed to be this like
quirky,
like not like ugly twin sister kind of thing, and she did this semi like Steve Urkel kind of voice with a lisp, and I thought it was good, but I could tell that it was getting in her head when Michelle and Ross were giving her these critiques where I don't know if they necessarily are qualified to give those critiques.
She said it, not me.
I'll say it again. They were not qualified to give the critiques, for being honest.
Well, I felt bad for Raja because, like, if that were happening to me, like, you practice this whole thing in this voice, in this way, like creating this character, and then they basically tell you, like, don't do that. And then so like it's so hard to like switch that off, and we could see that.
It didn't come off, the way it was. Kind of like this mess between what Michelle and Ross wanted and what Raja had planned to do. And also Akira was going into this challenge very confident and that they can do the part. And then again with Ross and Michelle, it just kind of like their critiques just like it seemed as if their critiques were yes, coming from a place of trying to get them to do better or perform differently. However, it really didn't help them in the end, and it hindered their performance overall.
But it was supposed to be deadpan, and I don't know. I don't know how you make that funny while still having attitude. I guess
Mhm.
I feel like okay, maybe they were trying to say that, but like their critiques weren't very well, and so
Right.
more.
But why don't I mean Michelle was so willing to get up and help Kylie
Mhm,
later on, and Raja and Akira were left to the side to like,
mhm.
oh well. So that's why I feel like there's a lot of production going on in terms of just how Michelle and Ross reacted towards
Mhm.
everyone needing help.
Right.
They said, well, Raja and Akira figure it out. You're not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. Da, 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 da. And we're going to sit here and not tell you. And then Kylie is struggling. And then Michelle just is compelled to get out of her seat for the first
Right.
time ever in how many seasons? 13 plus 6 All-Stars plus 2 UK. Like I can't.
Mhm.
I don't understand why this time, why this moment,
Why now? Why this sperm?
specifically for Kylie. Yes, Kylie eventually got it, but I'm sure Kyria and Raja could have gotten it too if she had done the same thing. So
Mhm.
why wasn't that opportunity extended to those two? It feeds into this writing and production of producing the end results the way
Right.
they want them to.
Right. It very you can tell the production is definitely sticking their toes in there. And it's a little frustrating, especially when the bigger queens or the queens of color are over here saying like, what do I have to do to get noticed? And like being frustrated that they can't do anything right. And I feel like it's not all on them, like I feel like
Mhm.
so Eureka on this challenge and then Eureka on the Pink Table Talk, I feel like did really, really, really well. But for some reason they're just, not
I
giving it to her.
I felt like Eureka was overlooked on the Peak Table Challenge,
Mhm.
and the acting on this challenge. When she did "I'm Your Biggest Fan" and she
Mhm.
was manic. I mean,
Mhm.
that calls for something that is
Yeah.
manic. And Michelle is
I thought it was funny.
was like lowbrowing it, and I'm like, I don't understand I don't understand where you're getting at. Like that's
Mhm.
supposed to be manic.
Right. Who is your favorite in seeing the scene and doing the acting?
I felt like there were three people that really did well, which was Kylie after getting the note from Michelle. She did give it, what I think the role called for. And then also Ginger did really well as Emma, and with her physical humor and the faces and all of that. So I think she did really well. And I felt like Pandora was highly overlooked. Pandora was very funny in both roles as Frances and Joan Crawford, and it was just like you're safe. So it was very disappointing, the results, and we'll get into it. But my favorites were Jessica, Kylie Sonique, and Pandora for sure.
Pretty much agreed. I think Kylie was really well. I think she was doing fine even before Michelle like stepped out of her chair. But even after that, I think she did get it with the help. And in the final product, it was very Jessica Lange. But honestly, I feel like Ginger, Eureka, I feel like they're actresses, so they just did an amazing job. And Pandora, I agree. I feel she was overlooked. I feel like she had the look down, the faces. She did seem though a little unconfident, and that's just been a theme this whole competition for me. I feel like she's always looking down. She's like you'll notice it now. It's like she's always looking down. She's always kind of like unsure, and then she'll talk, but then when it's like a big group, like she won't talk. And I mean, like I get that because I'm the same way. But for All Stars competition, I imagine it's not helping her in continuing to be overlooked. Would you date someone who was a witch?
Probably not. I ain't into that. I ain't trying to get
Trying to get hexed over here?
I ain't trying to get hexed. I don't think so. No, it's a no. It's a no go. It's kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's in general like it kind of falls under the same category as like religion for me. Like, it's fine if like it's something that brings them joy, but I
Mhm.
couldn't date someone who it was like a big part of their life, you know?
Right. Oh, so this runway is oh my goth, and
Yes.
I love the runway name.
Okay. And so Ginger's look, we have the voodoo doll goth child look. Toot or boot?
I'm gonna toot this look. I like the look. I like the hair. I like the bow and the hair. The bangs. It's giving me very Lolita, very child with like with the child with the doll. Of course, it's a voodoo doll.
Mhm.
I do like the dress. It's like on the verge of this nightgown kind of looking thing, but it is nice.
It's a toot for me as well. At first, I didn't like the length, but then the more I understood it and other people explained it as like childish, adult type thing, it made sense to
Mhm.
me. So I like it. And the hair for me is everything. I love it. Um, yeah, it's a toot. So next we had Eureka.
It's a boot. I couldn't wait to boot this look. I think what it is it's not the dress and the the whatever she's wearing underneath. I do like that. I do like that. I hate this makeup. I hate it so much. It's just so like it's very harsh around the eyes, and I guess that's what goth is, right? But it's
Mm.
also like I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't know. It's just something about this. The more I look at it, the more I hate it. It's a boo.
Okay. Um,
Sorry, but it's a boo.
no, I mean it's not my favorite of the on the runway. I I'm kind of tired of this. It's not the silhouette, but just like it's very I don't know. It's her style of drag. I guess I want to see something kind of different.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. I just wanted to see something different, and I hate when judges say that, but like this is very like Eureka, and I feel like every week someone's saying like this is very Eureka, this is very Eureka, and like
Right.
it's a good thing because she has a signature kind of brand, but at the same time, especially like a goth runway, there's a lot of room for like creativity. I also don't like the makeup, but just personally because it's not my style and I wouldn't wear it.
Mhm.
But I feel like it fits the category. Um, so it's a toot for me. And who do we have next? TKB.
Miss Trinity K. Bonet. I like this look. It's a shoot for me.
A shoot?
It's a shoot.
Oh.
I do like the silhouette. The silhouette is everything. It's all black. It's very artistic and creative from the neck up. And she has that tulle lining on the sleeves that is very in. And this long ass train. Like if you're gonna do a train, make sure
Mhm.
it is the biggest fucking train we have ever seen.
It's definitely a toot for me. It's stunning. I love the asymmetrical hat, the makeup, the train, the leggings. It all just fits together so well. So it's a toot. Next we have Raja Uhirit.
Reja D. O'Hara. This was also a very, very good look. It's for me, it's a shoot. I really like this look. It's very simple, it's very clean, it's very classy. The hair has, of course, her signature purple highlights in there. Her makeup, her mug is on point. She looks good. She looks good. And I love this lace glove, and these pants are everything. I love it.
Yeah, for me, I guess because I just don't like pants on the runway, and Raja was sent home for having terrible pants on the runway, so I'm kind of like biased about it, and so I didn't like it at first. But it is very classic. It's very like simple, but also like editorial, like fashion.
It's fashion meets.
But she looks amazing. The fit is amazing. It's a boot for me. I just personally, I didn't like. I mean, she looks stunning, but I don't know. For the category, it's too simple compared to the other queens. But it's hard because she's perfectly fitted and she just looks amazing. And
Yeah, it is hard.
she would be on the cover of a magazine. But
Right, right.
anyway,
Akira Chanel Davenport. I wrote
This
the headpiece looks like a cheap Christmas wreath that was spray painted black. It just came off as very cheap. Because it kind of looks like it's
Really?
got like tinsel. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just well, looking at this photo up close, it's clear that it's not tinsel or any of that. But walking down the runway when it first came out, I was like, is this tinsel? It looks like
it
it's
did
tinsel.
kind of look like tinsel. Yeah.
So I like the a silhouette it gave, but I didn't like the overall headpiece. Overall, it's a 2.
Yeah. It's a 2 for me. I love it. And she always looks stunning. I think she looks fucking amazing in this. But next we have Jan. This was a toot for me.
Yes, I
this
did like
is-
this look.
This is what I meant in terms of Eureka, like giving us Eureka all the time. I feel like this is like something different from Jan, and we needed to see it, and it's done so well. It is, she said, goth princess. It gives me that down. She looks like Lucifer's daughter. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's a different note from Jan, and I can appreciate that. I do like the look. Yeah, it's a 2.
So next we have Kylie Sonique Love, serving you Sex Demon. I live. This is a 2 for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is everything. I love this look. I love this look. This look is it's very goth. It's very Kylie. I live for the Scary Spice hair. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's a 2.
I love it. I would have liked a closed toe shoe maybe, but what do I know? It's a
Yeah,
2.
yeah. What do you know? What do you know?
I could put my whole fist in my mouth.
Next we have Pandora Box.
Yes. This was a toot for me. I appreciated what she came out in. It was very
Expected.
widow.
Oh.
Yes, it was expected, but I felt like it tells a story, and she was telling the story as she was walking down the runway. So I love it. It's a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2 for me. I love it. It's very, the category, it's very gothic. And I love the weeping woman widow trope. So we have Raja and Akira in the bottom. Trinity and Pandora are safe. Kylie is the winner and everyone else is safe. Do you agree with this outcome?
I felt like if they were ever going to give Ginger the win, this was the time to do it.
Yeah.
But I think because
and Eureka
they had
should have
already
won last time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eureka should have won last time, and I think Eureka should have been in the bottom this time. But now we're going into the next challenge with Eureka being in the bottom 0 times and Raja being in the bottom once, which I feel like is inaccurate because I feel like Raja has done a lot better than Eureka in this competition as a whole. And going into the next challenge with this particular track record, because as you'll find out at the end of the episode, track record does matter, and Akira does go home.
So let's talk about the lip sync. Kylie, it looks fucking amazing. She has her
I do look like the new look. I love it. It's good.
Yes, I love it. And our lip sync assassin is Manila.
Manila Luzon.
Your favorite queen.
My favorite. Yes. Manila looks good. Now, once they started playing Christina Aguilera's Dirty, I had some questions. Kylie is giving pure sex. Manila's giving me don't funk it up energy, bottom 3, All Stars 4.
No.
I felt like it was so low energy coming from Manila. Especially, we've seen what she can do.
I feel like what else could she do? Like, she was going up against Kylie. I think she also knew that this was a Kylie song. And it's kind of like, you could either go over the top and try and beat her at her own game, or just like do your own thing. And I feel like she totally just did her own thing. I love Manila. But yeah, I totally just forgot she was there. It was all about Kylie, and I was here for it, and I bought the tickets, and I bought the T-shirt. So, I was thinking though, with Manila there, got me flashbacks, and I talked about earlier how the storyline was building of how Kylie might send like, oh, who's she gonna send home? And then I was like, what if someone gets Manila when Manila is
On
there?
while Manila's there, yeah.
Yes. And so for me, it did add to that. I was like, Akira's going home, but they had me for a second, especially with
I
Manila
think the
there.
real gag would be Manilaing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the real gag
Right.
from the group.
And we did see in the Untucked, I believe, that pretty much everybody voted for Akira.
Yes, everybody voted for Akira except for Akira,
Except
who voted
Akira.
Raja.
Right.
Manila with the finger split on her arm told me everything I needed to know about her presence in the lip sync.
You are so shady.
I mean,
I love Manila. She's amazing.
I love Manila too.
No, you don't. You hate her.
No. I did not like Manila going into All Stars 4. But after All Stars 4, Manila has sold me on Manila.
Okay, work.
Kylie wins the lip sync, well deserved, and she eliminates Akira, which is correct. It's correct.
Which is correct, and we saw
She
coming.
did worst compared to Raja. But I will still stand by my opinion that Eureka should have been in the bottom two. She should have stood up there with Raja and Akira too.
So we get to the end of the episode, but we still do not know what the game within the game is.
Yeah, it's
And
already 6 episodes. When
I
are
know.
coming back?
I know. I am wanting to know what it is already, and I want to see what happens.
I know. I'm like this close to just opening up our spoiled drag race
No,
and just finding out myself.
Don't do it.
Girl, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Don't do it.
But it's taking everything in me to not.
I thought you already spoiled it.
I have not. Well, I did, but I want to know when.
Okay.
Yes.
So who is your winner after this episode? Who do you want to win?
Okay, I have
Or who do you think is going to win?
Okay, those are two very different questions. Now, who I want to win is I would like to see Raja O'Hara win. I would like to see Raja take this because I do think she was that stunning queen in season 11. Raja did not have a bad runway at all. There's I don't think her farm to fashion runway.
You die on that hill.
I will die on that hill. That runway was good, and she should have never been in the bottom. But they just wanted to put her and Akira in the bottom because they're friends, and it's good writing and good production value. So whatever. But I will say I want Raja to win. Who I think will win is probably going to be either Ginger or Eureka.
Pretty much
based
same
on the edits, on strictly the edits. Eureka in the top with that Madonna Super Bowl, which she did one thing that was Madonna, and all of a sudden Madonna's doing high kicks to high heavens left and right. But then you have Pandora doing Carol Channing and doing a really good job at it and ignored. Cheryl Canning. And then you have Ginger winning last episode on a team that was the worst team.
Yeah. It's annoying. But yeah, I completely agree. I'm still Team Raja. I honestly don't even think she deserved to be in the bottom this week. Despite not being crazy about her runway. I mean, just for the category. But yeah, she's still my number one. I'm still rooting for her. Well, thank you for stopping by virtually on our first ever episode of Drag Race Thoughts. And it'll probably be our last. So
thank you for having me. I can't wait for this to come out and I can't wait to record any future episodes.
Thank you, my most esteemed guest. Okay, well, if you liked what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you think. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.